first-time year player for Chris Berry. This is his first season playing, and he actually comes to us from the video game.
Okay,
so he's been rocking in the video game, now switching over to TCG.
Very cool. Yeah, the prize support's got a lot of people excited. We've seen some players switching over from other card games. Of course, now the video game too. Come on over. We got plenty of space for you over here.
Yes.
And why not when you can play with the brand new cards like Charizard EX?
Absolutely. Chip Richey over here on the right side. Both of our players are playing that brand new Charizard EX. Chip Richey just in a little bit more of a casual wear than you're used to seeing him in, I'm sure. But I'm sure he's excited to get into this match and show us what he can do. Of course, this is going to be a mirror match. These decks are different, so we'll have to see how those differences play with our players here in this match, but let's check out the prize cards first and foremost.
Yeah, Luminion there for Chip. See, one pitch out as well for Chris. Double for his Seal Stone, that's not good to see. There's only 2 in the deck, and you love to search that out on the opening turn. That's bad news.
Bad news indeed. 2 Forest Seal Stones in the prize cards. We'll have to see how that comes up in this match. Both of these players, I'm sure, focused in, ready to go. They're both 3-0 right now in this tournament. So this is this match right here is really going to set the pace for hopefully a strong finish. Of course, all of our players having to get at least that 6-2-1 record to make it into day 2, but they want to go further than that, and both these players are looking to do that. Right now, let's kick off this match in our Swiss Round 4 Community Choice.
Oh. Well, the community does not like to see this. If you wanted to see Chip, not only is he going second, but he's starting the Radiant Charizard. Oh no.
Sheesh, a late game Pokemon that I'm sure Chip is quite sad to see in the active position right there. But Chris Berry is starting with a nice little Charmander in the active position and a Nest Ball as well to bring out a basic Pokemon onto the field. Of course, going to take a look at the deck and quickly see some Forest Seal Stones are not there.
Yeah, well, this may be a new player, maybe recent from VG, but look at that collection. There's a lot of swag on that side of the table.
You know what's funny, Kyle? I feel like our newer players usually have the fanciest cards too. They like the bling.
That's the beauty of this, is you can buy a deck for so cheap now that you can go ahead and get all the max rarity stuff and have a good time.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, Chris Berry sought out that Celebrations Mew and pushed it into the active position here, and we're going to see that Mysterious Tail being utilized to find an Ultra Ball. So there's now 2 Ultra Balls in the hand here for Chris Berry. We're going to have to see what is discarded out of the hand. It looks like a Manaphy and an Escape Rope to the Ultra Ball.
Yeah, not the card that Chris was looking for. Would love to see the VIP pass instead, now losing some cards from the hand and can go after another Charmander. Of course, you'd love to see that Pidgey so you can play into maybe the Rare Candy Pidgeot later on.
Yeah.
Instead, there's just 3 cards in the hand. You can't even play this Ultra Ball.
Absolutely. That is unfortunate indeed. Maybe not the finest pick off of that Mysterious Tail, but hey, at least we're getting another Charmander down onto the field here, kind of the bases of the deck. Chip Richey over here starting with 2 Battle VIP passes in the hand. So unfortunate start with the Radiant Charizard, which of course is one of the later game cards they're going to be using. But at least getting a nice look in the deck here off that Battle VIP pass, and still lots of turn to be played. So Kyle, since we're seeing a Charizard EX mirror here, let's delve into how this deck works. Maybe it's some of our viewers' first time seeing Charizard function. How would you best describe how this deck is played?
It loves to be very consistent. You want a Rare Candy, search out that Charizard EX, and then start to use your ability, Infernal Rain, and place those basic fire energies down onto your Pokemon and get aggressive early. Often, you see players go after that Burning Darkness attack, dealing 180 damage, but that attack just gets better and better as you move on in the game, taking more prize cards. So you want to use that Entei potentially as Chip, as an early attacker, and maybe you can bait your opponent into taking some early prize cards so that you can attack for more damage later.
Well, we'll have to see what Chip decides to do here. But yeah, very consistent, very, I mean, it's a setup deck, but once you're set up, you're going. You know, you accelerate tons of energy out. You're able to draw cards out of the deck as well with your Pidgeot, EX, Charmander's flying onto the field here with Chip, on Chip Richey's side, and that Entei that you mentioned as well, Kyle.
Yeah, Entei is such a great recipient of the Forest Sealstone that we often see searched out by the Arven supporter, which is Chip's next choice here. It's just a great classic combination there where you can set up for that turn 2 a rare candy Charizard.
Yeah, these are the combo pieces being put together right now on Chip Richey's side. So as we see that Forest Sealstone, something Chris Berry doesn't have on the other side of the field. And of course, a rare candy as well.
The max rarity, yet min rarity of going for the promo, the one that isn't going to foil and bend and warp like the other Forest Sealstones. I see you, Chip.
Yeah, Chip's all about maximizing his gameplay. He doesn't want any mistakes here on the deck check, right?
Right.
We see that Forest Sealstone coming down here, allowing that Entei V to have a V-Star power. Now Chip's debating where to put this energy on the field here. Took it back off of the Entei, is actually going to end up attaching it to this Radiant Charizard and passing over to Chris Berry's side of the field.
Suppose there's a world where you may have to retreat this Pokemon at some point. You do play the escape rope so you can bounce around, but you're probably not attacking into an ideal Pokemon of your choice there. And this is trouble for Chip because he just has 2 rare candies in hand. They're going to the bottom of the deck now.
Oh no, that Iono coming in here to disrupt this game right now. So Iono is going to have both of these players shuffle up their hands, put it to the bottom, and they're going to draw for each of their prize cards. So yeah, that is unfortunate. Those rare candies that Chip was sure looking to utilize out of play at the moment. Chris Berry over here, 3 Charmanders down now. Of course, 2 of them were put down in the last turn, so able to be evolved with that rare candy in its own, and the Pidgey joining us on the bench as well.
Ooh, yeah, here you see the Super Rod found off the Mew. I really think Chris was trying to eye up one of those lost vacuums. If you could remove that Forest Sealstone, potentially slow Chip down, a great load there.
That would have been fantastic, but unfortunately, Mysterious Tail not paying off here for Chris Berry. Still able to get that Super Rod into the hands, though. Yeah, there we go. That golden Super Rod as well.
Oh, we see the Charmeleon coming in. This
Whoa!
Not exactly how this works, but you can just evolve.
Hard evolve. I mean, it's in the deck for a reason, right, Kyle? In these desperate situations, maybe. But yeah, that's going to be it here on Chris Berry's side of the field. Just an evolution into the Charmeleon, and it's just going to be a pass over to Chip is what it looked like. Yeah, we're over on Chip's side now. So still has access to the Forest Sealstone. Let's check out this hand that Chip is working with now. I see an Arven in the hand. What else do you see in, Kyle?
Well, the Arven's the most important piece that can search out the rare candy, and then you have the Forest Sealstone for your Charizard. The issue is well, I guess there's the Pidgeot there as well. So you could use that for the rare candy Pidgeot search out the other piece that you need and potentially get all of your Pokemon in play.
Well, this is going to start the chain here. Chip going into the deck for a tool card and an item card as well. So those rare candies being eyed up. Once again, are we going to see the exact same cards pulled off that Arven?
Yeah.
We are going to see that because that's what Chip needs to do here.
That's pretty much all you're looking for is just to thin out the deck and rare candy these Pokemon. Not sure if all the pieces are there to search out a rare candy Charizard. So may have to slow down a bit.
We'll see what happens here. All of these Pokemon on Chip's side able to be evolved into at this point in time. So we're going to see that rare candy into that Pidgeot EX. That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier with the quick search, allowing you each turn to go into your deck and draw a card out of it to put together these puzzle pieces of how Charizard EX works. And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about Charizard being a bit of a setup deck. I mean, both of these players are taking a little bit of time here to get rolling.
Yeah, Chip's really trying to decide what the right line is here. If he wants to get aggressive or slow down a bit, the escape rope selected here. So definitely thinking about a slower approach now.
Yep, it is looking like that, shuffling up after taking out that escape rope off of the quick search.
It's definitely a difficult dance as you're trying to get damage onto the board but not take knockouts. And certainly that's possible. As soon as you see Chris evolve into that Charizard, you can deal damage directly into it and set up a 2-hit knockout at some point.
Ooh, let's see what Chip can get off this Mysterious Tail. I think it was just the Ultra Ball. Maybe there's another card in there, but it's going to be the Ultra Ball off of this Mysterious Tail that was switched up after the Escape Rope. Chris Berry putting up one of those Charmander on his side of the field here. And now we're going to see Chip rolling into these other actions. It's going to be that Ultra Ball discarding the Manaphy and another Forest Seal Stone, using that as fodder. Of course, there's already one on the field, so we're good to go there to still have that V-Star that, well, was already used here. And we're going to see the Rare Candy into the Charizard EX. So you're starting to see how this deck kind of functions. It just, you know, searches cards with Arven, searches the pieces you need to evolve into your Pidgeot EX, that then gives you the pieces to get into the Charizard EX, and then you get all of these energy that Chip is eyeing up right now to accelerate onto the field, and you start swinging. So is it going to make that big of a difference that Chip is kind of first to be the aggressor here, Kyle?
Yeah, he really debated if he wanted to use the Entei or the Charizard in that spot, and Entei is going to make the most sense. You can take one prize card here, and you're still not in range of immediately being returned KO'd by a Charizard EX, so use those hit points that you have right now and potentially get to work in this Pokemon into your prize exchange. It seems like a good play.
Yeah, and you get that extra draw as well off that fleet-footed, which is nice. We're so used to seeing it off of the Raikou and the former Suicune, but now we're seeing it off the Entei. Just another fleet-footed here, and then we're going to see that knockout. Chip being the first to the prize cards here, taking a prize card off that bottom right, and we're back over to Chris Berry's side. Of course, we do have that Mysterious Tail Mew in the active position to get Chris into some more cards, hopefully some more pieces needed. But what are we seeing for the hand? Where does Chris go from here for this turn?
Yeah, it was a great top deck of Rare Candy. It just needs a few more pieces.
Yeah.
Metal VIP Pass is not one of those, though.
No, it could be discard fodder, I suppose, but it depends on what else is in the hand.
Metal
VIP. No Ultra Ball?
Oh, there's the
there we
Arven.
go.
All right.
That's what we need to see here. The full art version of that Arven, and that's going to search out that tool card and an item card as well. Ultra Ball is going to be the item card here that Chris is searching out. And of course, we have easy fodder with those 2 Battle VIP Pass that are currently in the hands here for Chris. And ooh, we see a choice belt, Kyle.
That's the combo we're looking for. Rare Candy Pidgeot can search out the Charizard and then have a perfect knockout lined up on that Entei V because of the plus 30 damage from the choice belt.
Yeah, that would be ideal here for Chris. And Chip is probably like, oh, there's a choice belt. I know exactly what that means.
I was hoping you were a Vitality Band player.
Yeah, that is very true.
Which he is.
I mean, there is one in there.
Chris plays both. He's got the 1 belt and the 1 Vitality.
So maybe, yeah, Chip just hoping that's not what happens, but unfortunately that's what's going to be happening here. We do see that quick search being used here. We see the evolution into that Charizard EX off the Rare Candy. What are you owing about, Kyle?
There was another Rare Candy. I didn't see that.
Oh.
So you get to save the Charmeleon there, and that's just another easy search for the Pidgeot down the road. You can continue to chain together these Charizards so easily here.
So we're going to have the retreat here. We're going to have the pieces needed to take the knockout on this Entei V. We have the backup Charmeleon chilling on the bench. We got the Pidgeot EX out on the field ready to search. This is what I call a pretty established board here.
It's working. You would have thought that a Forest Sealstone was involved in this mix, but
True.
no. Chris able to get it done and take a huge knockout there on Chip's Entei. And this Pokemon's not in danger.
Yep, that is very true here. That Charizard EX. 330 HP. It's beefy. It's very beefy. And Chris is going to respond to Chip's 1 prize knockout with a 2 prize knockout. So Chris now leading in the prize race, and it's up to Chip to respond from here. We're going to see the Pidgeot EX be promoted into the active position. Of course, it does have 0 retreat cost, which is quite nice to have on your field. You have a kind of a floater at any point in time, and Chip is going to be going into the deck here to get another Charmander out with that Nest Ball.
Yeah, Chip has some interesting decisions to make. You can either continue to attack into these Pokemon, or you can deal with the eventual threats. You can target down Pokemon like that Charmeleon, maybe use that Lost City that you have to avoid ever seeing this Pokemon back on the stage. The issue is that Chris has that Pidgeot, so he can continue to search out more of these Charmanders and maybe set up some eventual threats.
Yeah, it's definitely a sticky situation to be in for sure. We at least had that lost vacuum that's going to get rid of that choice belt that was on that Charizard EX on Chris's side. And then this Lost City is in play now, or is that in the Lost Zone?
Yeah, it's in play. There was another card thrown off.
Okay, I was like, I don't know. I think it was the Iono that was Lost Zone, or did they just Iono? Okay.
There were 2 Ionos.
Okay.
There was a lot going on there.
I'm so confused what just happened. All right, 2 Ionos. That makes more sense. So, of course, Lost Vacuum, you have to throw your own card into the Lost Zone, but to be able to get rid of that choice belt as well. But that's off the field now here. Lost City is in play as well. So if any knockouts happen, that Pokemon's going to go into the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. And then we also had an Iono, I believe, for both our players too. We're going to see the Charmeleon evolution on Chip's side, as well as a attachment for turn.
Yeah, thankfully found a fire energy there. Wasn't going to have a reasonable attack this turn. And Burning Darkness dealing plenty of damage. Nowhere near the knockout just yet with all those hit points.
Yup, tons of damage here, but lots more to go from Chip Richey. So just going to get that damage on the board, and Chris Berry has options now from here. And it was kind of interesting, like you said. I mean, maybe there wasn't the choice to go for the Charmeleon there for Chip, but that would have been nice, because I mean, you look at prize mapping too, and already took 1 prize card, so it would have been nice to get another 1 prizer, kind of even things up a bit, get rid of that threat. But now Chris has the chance to get into a Charizard EX. That's just another big 330 HP Pokemon, and that's going to be a lot more difficult to deal with here from Chip's side. We'll see what Chris is able to do, though.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has options. He had the Nest Ball to search out more Charmander, and can potentially set up another Charizard on the following turn. It's going to be the Pidgeot, however, this time around. And you have Vanishing Wings. You can just float back away, but maybe one of those 4 Seal Stones was grabbed off of the prize cards. And I think it was.
Yeah, true. Oh, yeah, it was at the bottom right for Chris Berry, so potentially grabbed there. All right, so we're going to see this Charizard EX coming down. Infernal Rain, raining some energy cards onto the field here. It's going to be 1 onto that Charizard EX. Of course, there's only 2 fireballs needed there for the Charizard EX. So 1's going to also be placed on that Mew as well to give you a potential pivot option in the future. Lumineon coming down onto the bench. That is a full bench now here, Kyle. And it's going to search out a supporter. That supporter being Boss's Orders. Of course, the full art version. Being sought out of the deck here on Chris's side.
Yeah, we see the collapsed stadium, so that makes a lot of sense there with the Pidgeot.
Oh, nice.
Makes the bench nice and full, so that when you play down that Lumineon, you can just discard that Pokemon immediately with the collapsed stadium. And then you just have to make a decision of which Pokemon you want to target in a spot like this. You could go after a Charmeleon, or maybe you're threatened by that Radiant Charizard at this point. You're not quite yet able to knock out a Pidgeot, so we'll see.
Yeah, and that was a tough choice there for Chip, but yeah, getting rid of that Celebrations Mew on the bench here. Of course, the stadium in play affects both of our players, so both of their boards are limited now. And yeah, Chip already attached that energy onto the Radiant Charizard, so you don't want to toss that out for sure.
Well, now the decision is where the Boss's Orders targets. And
true.
Chris certainly has some options here, and it looking like the discard here to retreat, protecting the hit points of the Charizard.
Wow, yeah, it's going to be a manual retreat here, getting rid of those 2 retreat cost fire energies into the discard pile, promoting that unweakened Charizard EX, and is just going to hit into the active Charizard EX here for Chip Richey.
I mean, at some point, you're going to have to deal with this Charizard. You might as well attack into it now and force your opponent to either choose between setting up an additional Charizard on their bench or going with the Boss's Orders to target down some prize cards. And it makes sense to put your opponent in awkward positions where Pidgeot can only search out 1 card instead of 3.
Yep, that is very true. That is very true, Kyle. So that's what we're kind of seeing Chip having to deal with here now. Some difficult decisions here. Looks like going to start with a quick search. So at least going to be able to put some puzzle pieces together for whatever else is in this hand. Eyeing up that boss's orders, and that's going to be the pull for Chip Richey.
It's so difficult to maneuver in this prize map as you know exactly how much damage your opponent can do.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know how much damage you can do. So you have to find the opportunities where you can incorporate potentially single prize Pokemon like that Radiant Charizard, and maybe you can get your opponent in a spot where they do attack in, knock out this Charizard, and you take some easy ones. And this is Chip really considering that, going after the single prize of the Mew.
Yep, that Mew being brought up, of course, has that energy already attached, but that's not going to matter anymore if it is wiped clean off the board here by a giant Charizard. Lost City is also going to bump that collapsed stadium, which allows Chip to place another Pokemon down now in that Pidgey. And of course, that Mew is going to go into the Lost Zone now under that Lost City. So taking another prize card, Chip has done it with the prize mapping at least. So both of our players are tied up now. Only 4 prize cards left to take from both of them. And we're over onto Chris Berry's side of the field. Charizard EX in the active position here with those 2 energy already ready to go, charged up, ready to fire, but we'll see how Chris is able to reestablish this board here for the rest of this game.
Yeah, you can see the plan for Chip. It's target down that Pidgeot after a knockout, and then target down that Charizard and try to clean that up for the final 2 prize cards. The issue is going to be, does Chris find a way that he can hold on to a boss's orders when a Pidgeot is knocked out, as obviously you can't use the quick search on that turn if you're not on the board anymore.
Yeah, that is kind of a requirement there. The ability has to be there to be used. But we're going to start off here with an Iono, that beautiful artwork of the Iono here from Chris Berry. So both of our players going to draw into a fresh 4 cards after shuffling their hands, putting it to the bottom of their decks. Let's see if Chris was able to draw anything helpful for this turn.
There's not much. There's a Super Rod, a Pidgey, a Stadium. Nope, I don't like that one bit. And this is the situation that we were talking about for Chip. And if this would be a fantastic turn to target that Pidgeot, and hopefully Chris just does not have the answer to knock out a Pokemon like that Pidgeot. And you can see Chip thought about that as well. This is a situation where Chip could easily play his bench out and use a collapsed stadium and force Chris to take a single prize Pokemon knockout.
Yeah, that is very true here for sure. We're going to see this knockout here from Chris Berry, taking another 2 prize cards, but will that be enough to wrap things up in the late game here? Chip Richey going to promote into this Pidgeot EX with the free retreat. Of course, Lost City was still there, so that Charizard EX going into the Lost Zone versus the discard pile. Now Chip is starting off this turn here, just has to put the final pieces together to hopefully play out a win here on Chip's side.
Yeah, this is a tough call. The boss's orders is in hand, which is perfect. That's going to line up for a knockout on the Pidgeot. You have the rare candy and I believe the Ultra Ball too, so everything's there. You just have to hope that Chris does not have the boss's orders to target the Pidgeot afterwards.
Wow, all of that was off the Iono too. That's pretty wild.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris, for all these fantastic cards I needed straight into my hand. So, yep, Chip is going to just go into the deck for that Super Rod here and is going to use it now. So we're looking at the discard pile here. Chip's going to recycle 3 fire energy back into the deck off of that Super Rod.
Wow, the whole hand plays out. Look at this.
Ultra Ball, discarding an Ultra Ball and a Charmander, of course, to get that Charizard EX. You can get any Pokemon you want off that Ultra Ball, even those evolution Pokemon, which is huge. We see the rare candy into the Charizard, and the only card left in hand here for Chip Richey is that boss's orders. So, of course, we're going to see the acceleration of this energy off of that Infernal Rain on the Charizard EX. 3 total energy, and one of them is also going on to that Radiant Charizard.
Well, you have everything you need at this point. The Charizard's ready to go. The hand looks pretty weak for Chris, and you just have to hope that the answer is not there.
Yep.
Moving into that spot with about half the time left on the clock here. And the last card played is the boss's orders for the big knockout on the Pidgeot. He just has to hope. Please don't hurt me.
Please don't hurt me. Gets another 2 prize cards here. Both of our players tied up, 2 prize cards left to
Is that
take.
the boss's orders? He
Oh
top
my
decked it.
gosh. Are you serious?
Wow, what a big top deck there for Chris. He just takes the knockout on the Pidgeot to close out game 1.
That was absolutely huge. Well, that was pretty anticlimactic there, huh, Kyle? I feel like I didn't even see that draw here.
He shuffled it in his hand for a few seconds. He's like, oh yeah,
I just win. I just win here, no big deal. Wow, Kyle. Well, Chris Berry is going to be the winner of the first game in this chosen community choice stream match here in our Swiss round 4. Chip Richey, is he cursed?
Oh no, don't start that, especially on spooky Halloween
Especially
weekend.
Halloween. Chip Richey, woo, can't win a game on stream.
Oh, well, I guess we should bring up that it's been a hot minute since we've seen him in a day 2 of
that's
regional.
True.
I believe it's at least the top 32s back in the day. It's been about 5 years, so come on, Chip, figure it out.
Chip, you can do it. I mean, he's at a 3-0 record here, so I believe in Chip and his Charizard's double C's as we see this match play out between these players. Yeah, look at that. This is the final hand here.
That's
yeah,
all
he
you
just
need.
threw the
He's
boss's orders and shuffled it. Nice.
Does this win? Oh, yeah.
That sure does. And Chip knew exactly when that boss's orders came down, that was going to be game here. So both of our players definitely wrapping things up. And yeah, let's mention that, you know, Chris did that with no Forest Seal Stone too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't used in the early game, which is pretty wild. But here are our new prize cards between both these players heading into our game 2.
Not too bad for Chip, a nice array, but for Chris, double battle VIP pass, not the greatest.
Not the greatest, but I don't even think we saw a battle VIP pass for Chris in the last game. So he just had the setup of like multiple Charmander still, even without that. So it's workable, but definitely not what you want to see. That's a card that can only be played on your first turn, and then it's just wasted in your deck for the rest of the game. So you love to see it when it's in your starting hands. But Chip Richey is going to be starting off this game here in our game 2 between these players. Entei V, a much better active starter here than that Radiant Charizard was.
Yes.
So we have that there. It looks like the Fleet-Footed has already been used off the Entei V as well to draw into an additional card for the hand. Charmander down on the field here. I believe off that Nest Ball, and we're going into the deck once again here for an Ultra Ball.
Yeah, this is build your own VIP pass. It's not nearly as cool. I guess.
Yeah, and look
Chip
what it's throwing away too.
He could honestly complain. Entei has 3 retreat cost. He's a chunky boy.
True. That is true. You still got to get some energy on it before you can even do anything with it, besides draw cards, I suppose. But it is chunky for sure. 3 retreat costs. That's like one of the highest retreats we see in the Pokemon TCG, besides those super beefy Pokemon.
Some Snorlax, yeah.
Snorlax, yeah, 4 retreat costs there. But yeah, Ultra Ball, it had to throw away a Choice Bell and an Arven as well, and we see how pivotal that Arven is. I think Chip has another one in hand, I would assume.
Yes.
But Pidgey also going to come down before just the pass. Not even an energy being put down, and Chip is looking kind of bummed here. We're over on to Chris Berry's side, and even with 2 Battle VIP Pass in the prize cards, Chris Berry cannot be stopped here. Still has another Battle VIP Pass.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, the Forest Seal Stone is in hand as well. So everything looking like it's going Chris's way this time around. And why not? You just found the top deck of your life in game 1. Might as well keep rolling in game 2. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, 2 Battle VIP Pass. What? That's bananas here. Chris Berry is definitely doing it up here for the stream. We're seeing multiple Pokemon being drawn out here. The Mew as well, the Mysterious Tail Mew being the active Pokemon.
Best starter, yeah.
Yeah, the best starter you could have. Going to draw into even more cards. Chris Berry's also going second here, so has the ability to play supporter as well, which of course Chip did not have on his turn going first. So Chris just has it, just has what you need to play Charizard.
This is working very well. You can see Chris also thinking about everything there. Going for the second Pidgey. No, you can't use 2 quick searches. That's not how this works. But you are worried about your opponent potentially having that pop-off turn. Rare Candy Charizard, Boss's Orders on the Pidgey, and then you're not able to set up a Pidgeot. So thinking ahead there, just going to set up both of these Pokemon, and that kind of leads towards Chip maybe targeting early Charmanders if he has the access.
Yeah, that's true. You got to decide what to do at that point, and that might be the play here. Take down the threat of the little baby Charmanders that turn into very big, scary Charizard EXs. A lost vacuum found off of that mysterious tail on the Mew.
Yeah, what a hand there. Just everything. And just pass the turn.
Yeah.
You have no reason to play anything else. If your opponent plays Arven, you're going to have a big pop-off turn. If they play Iono, then they probably don't have the Rare Candy Charizard ready to go.
Yeah, that is very true. But Chip drew into the energy off of the fleet-footed there. I believe it was the Mew drawn off of the top deck for turn. So just deciding what to do here.
Yeah, Chip really wanted to see Forest Sealstone or Rare Candy there. Had the Ultra Ball ready to go for Candy Pidgeot or Candy Charizard. Instead now, this might be another slow turn.
No, I think you are right about that though, Kyle. I mean, maybe things could turn around depending on what happens, but Chip just going to place this Mew.
I was thinking about using Penny
onto the bench. I was just thinking that. Is that Penny?
It is. It's a great play when you are attacking in this mirror match and they don't have the choice belt on the other side. You can pick up that Entei, save all the hit points.
Look at that.
That's just a really bad switch.
That's a very, very bad switch. Of course, Penny being a supporter card takes that Pokemon, puts it back into your hand here, scoops it off the board. Great for when you have tons of damage counters.
Where's the Rare Candy?
But
no
Rare
dice.
Candy. Oh my gosh. So the supporter's been used on the Penny, scooped up that Entei V that was clogging up the active position. Mew's going to get us an escape rope here on Chip's side, but yeah, no Rare Candy.
Do you ever bench Entei, escape rope, and then fleet-foot it into the Rare Candy?
Stop. Kyle, please.
Come on, Chip.
I don't know. I wouldn't believe in my luck enough to do that, honestly. Especially if this is like turn 2. There's no way. There's no way. He said he's not going back in, so he is shuffling up the deck now after that mysterious tail. Sheesh, this has been tough here for Chip so far.
Yep.
But I mean, you can't even play support anymore. What am I saying? No supporter. What else does Chip do?
I think Chip's saying he
energy.
can't believe this is happening to him right now.
Chip is going to refuse to be on stream ever again because he just cannot seem to make things go his way. Entei V is going to come back onto the bench.
Okay, well, this is one way to see the card too. Come on, Rare Candy, no!
Oh, is it a boss?
It's a boss. They're always waiting on the top.
Yeah, that's true. It seems to be. Boss's Orders drawn off of that fleet-footed on the active Entei V here now into an Ultra Ball, and it's going to be a discard of an Arven and a Boss's Orders. So Iono's still in the hand here for Chip. Just going to get a Charmander out and then pass over to Chris.
That is pure desperation. Understanding that Rare Candy Charizard Boss's Orders on the Charmander is basically game sealing. You need the second Charmander in play, and Chip has to throw away so many resources there to do this.
A lot of resources. A lot of resources indeed, whereas in reverse, Chris Berry has a lot of resources, but they're just stacking up in the hand here, turn by turn. Mew searching out another card here off of that mysterious tail, just to kick things off.
Sign me up. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and you have to think that this could be a turn where you can target down that Pidgey on the other side for Chip. If you're able to knock out this Pokemon there, Rare Candy Pidgeot, quick search for all of those cards that we've seen from both players is no longer going to be accessible.
Yep, that is the engine here for both of these decks. You have to have a way to search out these combination pieces and get things rolling. And if Chris is able to limit that, he can take even more of a lead than he already has in this match. And hopefully run away with a 2-0 win in this set here in our round 4. We'll have to see what Chris is able to do here. Starting off with a Rare Candy into that Pidgeot EX.
Yeah, great sequencing here. Just grab all of the Pokemon first and align all of the answers, and then use that quick search ability. Find that rare candy for the Candy Charizard. Boss's Orders is in hand, so this should be a great knockout lined up.
Fantastic. Amazing sequencing. This is definitely a deck that requires quite a bit of sequencing, and Chris Berry is doing that for sure. Rare Candy is going to bring out another Charizard EX here. The first one this game, but another one for the game as a whole here. And of course, that's also going to bring our Fire Energy onto the field here, charging up that Charizard EX, and of course, giving a little Fireball over to the Mew to be able to retreat out of that position as well.
Yep, easy retreat there, and Boss's Orders lined up, and it's the Pidgey.
Oh, it's
Good
so smooth.
thinking.
It's so smooth, Kyle. It just seems effortless here from Chris Berry. Was able to put everything together. I mean, as I said, like, Chris was just stacking up resources in the hand this whole time. There hasn't been any disruption here from Chip's side. It was the penny instead of that Iono on that last turn from Chip. So that Pidgey is gone here. So Chip having to face even more obstacles going into the rest of this match here.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. The Iono right after your opponent just unloads, and Rare Candy's 2 Pokemon knocks out your only Pidgey. And what does he find? It looks like multiple Rare Candy, but there is a Charizard there.
Wow.
Who needs Pidgeot?
These Ionos are working in reverse, it seems, Kyle, for both of our players. All right, we're just seeing the Mysterious Tail. All it's going to get here for Chip is an Ultra Ball. Double Rare Candy in the hand here off of that Iono. And we do have the Charizard EX. So we're at least going to get that Charizard EX out here from that Rare Candy. And Chip is going back in to accelerate these energy onto the board as well.
Yeah, this is not over by any means. That Pidgey knockout is not terribly relevant. And Chip gets to attack into the first Charizard there. We've had enough of the Fly. We had Clive years ago on the World Stream with the Fly. I'm done with it.
Making an appearance once again.
Is it the same one? It just follows
the Fly.
us.
It is the Fly. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. We see these Fire Energy being attached to both of our Pokemon here. Charizard EX getting 1, and Entei V getting the other 2. Lots of fire still in the hand here for Chip.
Yeah,
Chip, bring out this fire.
Imagine a world where Chip still has the penny and can use this Entei, attack into the Charizard, soak up some damage, and then continue to attack and take those prize cards. Whoa, Ultra Ball here because the Rare Candy Pidgeot was found. We're going for Pidgey.
Ooh, Ultra Ball into the Pidgey, coming out onto the field here for Chip. Can we reestablish things and get rolling into this late game? That is going to be exciting to see here. We're going to see that Entei V attacking now with that Burning Rondo here. 180 damage.
Yeah, Pidgey putting in work. Extra 20 damage, yes please.
True. Very true. Getting another Pokemon out onto the field. That's going to boost that Burning Rondo move. We're over onto Chris's side of the field now. So 180 damage on this active Charizard EX. We have the Mew, the Pidgeot EX, another Charmander, and a Pidgey set up on the bench here for Chris. So lots of Pokemon already established here. We're going to go back into the deck here with an Ultra Ball, discarding a Nest Ball and a Charmander.
Yeah, this feels like another Boss's Orders turn, but we'll see the Rare Candy Charizard as a focus, looking for that secondary attacker, potentially that retreat strategy that we saw earlier, just trying to preserve all of the hit points that you can and avoid giving up those prize cards.
All right, Rare Candy bringing out another Charizard EX joining us. It kind of looks like Charizard is in a Halloween costume with its little terrestrialization hat.
Yeah, look at that.
Joining us here.
It's just, I understand the strategy. You don't want to give up the prize cards. You want to attack in and eventually handle this Pokemon. But if Boss's Orders is not in his hands, it seems like a great opportunity where you could just easily knock out the Pidgey and then force your opponent to take the prize cards. We'll see if it's there. Looks like Luminion is in hand, so that could be another way to go about that mix. And then I think we'll see it.
Yeah, that's what it is going to be. We saw the Luminion come down in the last game. Of course, it was kicked off the field once again with that collapsed stadium. This time, just going to be the Luminion coming down here for that boss's orders. Exactly what Kyle was saying. You need to see it here. Oh.
Whoa.
Is that the Charmeleon coming up?
That's okay. You can do that too. There's still 2 attackers that you're going to have to deal with, the Entei there and the Charizard. Entei's still in a decent spot to attack, but the benefit there is that when you attack into this Entei, it will be for a knockout, as likely Chip will be taking 2 prize cards this turn.
That is very true. Well, yep, there you go. That is Chris Berry going down to only 4 prize cards left to take here. Back to Chip's side, promoting into that Pidgey, into the active position. And
I mean, I understand.
In the hand?
It's Rare Candy Pidgeot. I don't know what we're waiting on.
Yeah, I was like, what is he deciding? But yeah, maybe just thinking things through. Who knows, Kyle? Who knows?
I mean, this was what Chris wanted to avoid. He saw the Pidgey, searched out very late in the turn, and it was off of the fleet-footed draw, which eventually led to this. Saw only 2 cards in hand and assumed it can't be Candy Pidgeot. Sure enough, it was. And Chip is here to punish.
Here to punish, indeed. We're going to see the quick search here off of that Pidgeot EX.
I want to boss that Charizard. I just want to deal damage everywhere and force my opponent to have to work through this Entei.
Yeah,
There's no good prize to target right now for Chris.
Yeah, that is a tough position for sure. If Chip decides to go that route, force Chris into awkward scenarios and who to attack. I mean, it's always nice when you're making moves to try and control what your opponent is able to do to just hang on in the game. So we'll see if Chip is able to do that. It's going to be the boss for the Luminion here on the bench. That Luminion V is going to be the that Entei V is going to knock out that Luminion V for 2 prize cards here, doing enough damage to get it off the field. 2 prize cards down, and Chris Berry is going to promote that Mew.
Yeah, Chip now in a situation where he's going to have to chain together multiple bosses' orders in order to close out. It says accepted the prize race here, and it would likely have to be the Charizard knocking out the Pidgeot, and then the Radiant Charizard knocking out the Charizard EX that we see here on the bench for Chris. So a lot to ask from Chip's deck, but maybe it can do it once more. We saw Candy Pidgeot come out of nowhere.
That's true. That is true. We saw it. Maybe we can see something happen here. Chip is hanging on as much as he can in this match, trying not to let Chris get away with any sort of 2-0 win here in the set. We'll see if Chris is able to maintain this energy and wrap things up before Chip is able to do the same. Here we go. Mew with this mysterious tail, going to search out an item card off of these top 6 cards of the deck.
Not much to choose from there.
Yeah, it's thin.
No longer can grab 4 Sealstone with that, as it reads differently with the new rules, and can't grab those stadiums either.
Yep, tool cards are now separated from item cards. They're in their own category. So even though some of our tools, just like this 4 Sealstone, says item on it, it is classified as just its own category of Pokemon tool. With the new rules that we have here, we see that quick search being used for this collapsed stadium. Whoa, the collapsed stadium to take that Charizard EX with the heavy damage off of the fields, Kyle.
It lines up so well for Chris. Knockout on the Entei V, easily lined up. You have so many hit points remaining with the Charizard, and if your opponent ever knocks this Pokemon out, Radiant Charizard's attacking for 1 energy.
There you go. Collapsed Stadium coming to the rescue here. Wiping all that damage off. 2 prize cards there for Chris Berry on that knockout of the Entei V. Chip promoting that Pidgeot EX. Starting off this turn. Benching a Charmander down. Double Charmander.
Oh, there's just not much there. The Charizard EX can't even attack. It's just 1 single fire energy. You can't search out a card like the boss's orders because you still need to attack.
Yeah, that is tough. Doesn't even have the last energy needed to be able to use that Charizard move. Oh, we're going to see the Arven here. allowing Chip to search out 2 more cards, a tool card and an item card.
This is a big difference in the deck lists. We've seen the Pidgeot V from the other side from Chris, where easily can use that for a Sealstone, shuffle that Pokemon, which usually is a 2 easy prize cards, goes right back into the deck. That's not an option for Chip. Just lost the Entei.
Yeah, Entei is gone now. Of course, you need a V Pokemon in order to use this for a Sealstone because it's giving you a V star power. So if you do not have that, which Chip doesn't, what are you going to do? Well, we do see the Super Rod at least going to shuffle in some of these energy that Chip is needing at this moment in time. Charmeleon also getting shuffled in with these 2 energy back into the deck off of that Super Rod.
Wow, quick search for a fire energy. Chip is just holding on, looking to just continue attacking at this point.
I mean, that's really all he can do, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you got to do at this point in time. Unfortunately, I feel like it was just going downhill after turn 1. I think Chris just had such a good initial setup. Had that momentum there, and Chip has kind of just been playing catch up, unfortunately, this entire game. We at least have that energy now that was searched out off of the quick search on that Pidgeot EX to allow Charizard EX to use Burning Darkness now for all that damage going down onto the opponent's Charizard EX.
Yeah, 300 damage, still not enough to take a knockout in this situation.
It's so wild.
You can tell, for Chip, it has to be a miracle draw. It has to be potentially Iono into counter the potential way to move this Collapse Stadium, another Pokemon, and then play your own Collapse Stadium to preserve the 2 prizes that would easily be taken on this Charizard. But then you need another attacker to go along with it. And are there enough resources there at this point, or is Chris going to be 1 boss's orders away potentially?
Yeah, it might just be too much to ask here on Chip's side of the field. Chris Berry over here. Oh, that boss is in the prize cards. Is that our last one?
We've seen at least, no, we've seen 2. We saw the target on the Pidgey and the target on the Charmeleon, so no more boss's orders in the deck.
Oh, yeah, so I guess that option isn't even there here for Chris Berry. It was just going to be the Arvin as the supporter for choice on Chris's side. Super Rod's going to be able to shuffle some cards back in here. Pokemon, Fire Energy, take your pick. Only up to 3, at least.
Yeah, I'll take 7 Fire Energy, please.
All right, those 2 energy and a Charmander being shuffled back in. But yeah, that does change things a bit here for Chris, because if he has no access to the boss's orders, what are you going to do then? You just got to swing.
Yeah. Chris potentially would like to set up another Pokemon in this situation. A Charmander would be nice. You could counter the stadium with Collapse Stadium. You have that Lost City in hand.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll have that final Charizard to go. It could even just be a way to search out the fire energy that you'd be looking for. And Chip's going to have to make a read and say, you don't have boss's orders. This is the only way that I can continue to play the game, is just promote threats that don't get knocked out.
Yep, that is very true. Right now, we're just going to see the hit back. Charizard EX striking into the opposing Charizard EX here for Chris Berry. Getting that damage on the board, and it is over to Chip, who has been behind in this match now, but hoping to maybe just squeeze out a win here. Going to start with an escape rope.
Yeah. He may have found a good card. The Lumineon is a way to open up the Forest Sealstone. You'd still need to counter the stadium, but this is a potential option. You could use the Pidgeot and search for a counter stadium and maybe continue to play there. But, I mean, Lumineon's going to search out the same card that Pidgeot would have. So
yeah, that's
you needed
true.
a little help there, maybe off a Pokemon like the Mew, to find a card like Lost Vacuum.
Ooh, yeah, that is true. I think that's exactly what Chip is kind of debating here. Like, how do I sequence this? Which way do I go about this? Still has options on board, of course, to search out these cards, try to get into what is needed here, but it's just going to be about the route chosen.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even handle this spot? You can search out rare candy Charizard, I guess, and continue attacking, but you're knocking out a Pidgey.
True.
Which is not good.
Doesn't get you much closer to anything.
It was a lot cooler when Chris did it on turn 2.
Yeah, that's true. That was way more of a pivotal moment. But yeah, that Pidgey was put down as a bit of a buffer in the early game because Pidgeot EX is already out on Chris Berry's side.
So the avenue here with Lumineon starts to include a supporter, so you can target the boss's orders, then you have the Forest Sealstone to search out that additional card, which is likely going to be the Charizard given the board state.
Yeah, we did already see that bump of the stadium, so Lost City is now in play versus that collapsed stadium, which is allowing that Lumineon V to come down. Of course, that Lost City was searched off with the quick search, and here we go. Forest Seal Stone is going to be played now that Lumineon V, being a V Pokemon, has access to a V star power, searching out any card here from the deck for Chip, and that is exactly what he needed. Yeah. I wonder, where'd this Charizard come from here? Yeah, we're going to see the rare candy into that Charizard EX, which of course is going to accelerate these energy down.
This has to be the call, Chip. You have to attach to that Charizard, target the Pidgeot, and hope to not see boss's orders.
What else was he debating?
The good news this time is there is no boss's orders to top deck.
Yes, that is true. Well, Chip doesn't know that, but Chris definitely does.
Well, he's still going to play to the outs and likely knock out the Pidgeot, and he's going to count. Say 1, 2.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. Work!
Yeah, I'm wondering if Chip's like, it's in the prize cards. It's got to be. Yeah. He's got to know at this point.
He doesn't know! He doesn't know! Which do you pick? You have the obvious threat of the Charizard or the way to search anything in the Pidgeot. Goes for the Pidgeot. It's actually not the right call this time because of the prizes, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, Chip doesn't know. No, Chip. No, it's just going to be that Pidgeot EX being knocked out here. Down 2 prize cards now, tying these players up to 2 prize cards left. Chris Berry only needs to take 1 more 2 prize card knockout in order to win this. Yes, but where is it? Boss's orders is still in the prize cards for Chris Berry.
He sees the lines.
Left.
He has escape rope in hand. You could just make him promote one of the wrong Pokemon.
Oh my gosh! That'd be bananas.
If Chip doesn't promote this Mew, I'm out.
Yeah, no way. There's no way. Chip would never. I don't think Chip's going to make that mistake, that's for sure.
Right now he's just contemplating which one hurts me more.
Yeah, true.
Take my Mew, I don't care.
Mew coming up here. Radiant Charizard.
No Pal Pad, no shenanigans. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Not a big deal at all. Yeah. Still should be how we do it,
Pidgeot taken out of the discard pile and thrown into the Lost Zone because of that Lost City.
Yeah, I was like, what are they discussing? But I guess it was just that. Yeah, because that Lost City is there. But that Radiant Charizard is going to get the knockout here.
We're in time. Does Chip have the boss's orders to close things out here? I don't see it.
No.
What?
Wait, what?
He doesn't have it.
Does he not have the boss? Wait a second. Wait.
So on turn 1 of time.
Was this the turn? Was this the turn where Chip had to throw away the boss to the Ultra Ball?
A lot of cards in the beginning of the game.
I think it was the Arven and the boss. He Ultra Balled it early in game.
Yeah, he
that had to have been the third one.
Looking for the win. It's turn 1 of time.
It's not there.
Chip still has an opportunity, but the problem is, if you take a knockout, Charizard wins. Anything can be knocked out. It will deal 330 damage. I don't see it.
It's not there. I think that was, it had to have been this game. Sometimes these games mix together, but I'm pretty sure at the toward the beginning of the game, Chip had to Ultra Ball an Arven and a boss's orders as well. And that, I think, was the last final boss's orders. He's like,
Chip apologizes and says, I don't know what to do.
He said that? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Chip, no. Yeah, he knows.
Honestly,
Chris Berry has the boss's orders off the prize cards.
Wow.
He got it off the top left prize cards. That's exactly what he needed to win this game, and Chip just does not have it.
I mean, even then, Chris wins in every scenario.
True. That's true. He has 1 prize card left to take. It doesn't even matter.
If we tie, he wins. If Chip knocks out a Pokemon that isn't that Charizard, he wins. He just attacks with Charizard. Everything lines up perfectly here. Chris playing it all the way down
Chris
to turn
knows.
2 of time.
He knows he's got this in the bag. I'm sure he's pretty happy. Just going to be that Radiant Charizard coming down onto the field into an Iono as well from Chip. That is tough to see.
Well, Chip likely gets one more turn because of this.
That's
There
true.
is no Pidgeot in play. The Iono is down to 1 for Chris. And that Charizard has a lot of retreat cost, so I don't see it going anywhere.
And I will. I'll pass.
Yeah, Chip knows he can't attack or else he just loses. It's so
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That is sad to see indeed.
Well,
I should.
similarly for Chris, what do? You have 3 retreat, you're stuck. You have no way to search anything out. It's just whatever you have in these 2 cards. It's Iono and
I'm just going to concede.
something else.
Oh,
Yeah, Chip
he's just going to
understands.
And
concede,
if we
yeah.
win in, if we go to time in game 2, you win game 1. So I'm just going to
Yep.
concede. It's okay.
Yep,
There you
that's
go.
going to be it. What a game there. What a match from Chris Berry.
Chip.
Closing out on those Pidgeys early to put
Yeah.
Chip in such an awkward spot. Chip trying everything to close out there. The big
did.
comebacks in both games, knocking out the Pidgeot and trying to eye up the boss for the win. Chris found it in game 1. Chip did not find it in game 2.
Yep, Chris Berry is going to be the winner here in our stream match. This was the community choice stream match, so I'm sure you all saw Chip Richey on the roster here. Was excited to see how things would pan out if Chip could get some stream redemption. Unfortunately, it went just as bad as it usually does, Kyle. I feel so bad for Chip right now.
That's what you get for playing Charizard. There's a lot of
Whoa,
Charizard
buddy.
out here. There's a lot
There
of
is.
Charizard. I don't understand it. The deck is so easy to play around. You know exactly how much damage you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But people love Charizard. And I mean, for good reason. It sets up very consistently. You get all of these attackers and target down everything.
Yeah.
It looks so fun. Until you run into that one player who knows to not knock out your Pokemon.
That is very true. This was the Charizard mirror match. Charizard on full display here, but Chris Berry is coming out on top with a 2-0 here in this match. We see the damage is going back and forth here, but this is our game 1, of course.
They looked very similar, honestly.
The list?
Just
Or
just
just in
the way
general?
that game 1 and
Yeah.
game 2 played out. Chris got off to a fantastic start, was able to set up a lot more consistently, and sure enough, the knockout there on the Pidgeot happens. Chris says, oh, I win.
Oh, I have a boss. Let's go. Boss's orders for the win here in our game 1. And then, of course, we headed into a game 2. This was our game 2 where Chip went first, Entei V in the starter position. Got a couple of Pokemon down, didn't have much after that. And Chris Berry, even with 2 Battle VIP Pass in the prize cards, was able to find 2 Battle VIP Pass in the first turn, established the board state, kept that momentum, took this early knockout. This was the first knockout of the entire game on this Pidgey, which just put an uphill battle here for Chip for the rest of this game.
Yep.
You know, just kind of lacking momentum on the other side here for Chip. And yeah, it really seemed like the whole time he was just kind of holding on to a thread. Still had outs, still had options, was still dealing damage, but was just never able to catch up after that in game 2.
Yeah, with this boss's orders on the Luminion, it almost sealed his fate as he
Yeah.
needed 2 more boss's orders to close out there. And with the early discard, I suppose, of that one boss's orders,
Yep.
the options were just never there. Chip continued to try, and then Chris, big collapse stadium to remove all
Yeah,
of
that was
those
huge.
damaged pieces of the Charizard. Here we go. Another big knockout lined up, and Chris just continued to find situations where he took a very even prize map and was
Yeah.
able to avoid ever giving up a big one-hit knockout on a Charizard.
Yep. Chip is discussing it here with Chris. Even if they went into the tie situation, they can't tie. Chris took the win in the first game, so he'd be taking the win regardless. So Chip conceded.